Hey, Shalom, Shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to you fellow brothers, pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Shabbat coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quadash, Shalom. This is going to be a in transit lesson. Impromptu, we're just meditating on some things earlier. I have a lesson I'm going to do, a sit-down lesson. I'm going to do a sit-down lesson, Lord's will, later when I come back, just handling some business. Okay, but, Spirit's on me now to do another lesson that I have that, was coming to me as I was, because we always continue to think about, the times and seasons that we're in, the different things that are happening geopolitically, the spirit, the sentiment of the world, and how things are going to pan out. And one thing we do know is that there's going to be a lot of death amongst Israelites, okay? Whether they claim to be a believer or claim to be, an Israelite, or whatever, they might say that they're just black, or they might just say they're Mexican or Puerto Rican, whatever it may be. We know that. Let me get 2 Ezra 15 first. Yeah, let me do that. The Lord is going to destroy the majority of his people here in America, man. And rightfully so. They continue to buck up. They continue to fight against the Holy Spirit, kick against the pricks. They can continue to live an evil life. The scriptures call them evildoers, children that are corrupters. Okay, let me get to 2 Ezra 15 and 3. It says, "Fear not." Now, let me read 1 because it's directed towards a particular group of people. That's the point. That's the point of this video. Esau might come up, but we're speaking about you so-called black Hispanic Native Americans and you Israelite foreigners. Okay, you disobedient Israelites here in America. We're not really concerned about the different parts of the earth, which, yeah, the Lord is dealing with certain brothers and sisters in the four corners of the earth, absolutely. But the main focus is here in Babylon the Great America. That's where the destruction is going to take place. That's where you disobedient Israelites are going to be punished. Well, that's where you've been punished. You were punished here in the Americas. In particular, United States, which is known in the Bible, biblically, as Babylon the Great. And you buck up against that, you don't believe that, and that's okay. 2 Ezra 15 and 1. "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." And the thing is, when you come to the Lord, you have to believe on this thing through faith. There's no document, because Jake wants things outside of the Bible. The Bible is the document. The Bible is the book that testifies that we are and signifies that we are the children. But the Spirit has to be dealing with you. The Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. There's no, and I'll say, even if there was documents, okay, even if there was emphatic or infallible proof, which there is, that we are the Israelites. Let's say Esau came on, let's say Donald Trump came on and said you so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans are Israelites. Jake will still buck up. Okay, Jake is still gonna buck up. You have a lot that will start to believe that they are, but remember, not all Israelites are Israelites of the Most High. Just because you claim that you're an Israelite doesn't mean that the Most High is dealing with you. Okay, you have a lot of Israelites that claim that they're Israelites, claim that they're the children of the Most High, because through convenience. It's convenient right now. There's nothing really happening to you right now. Your faith is not being tried. And then a lot of them, their faith gets tried, and they fail that test. right? Verse 3, fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee. This is speaking about the incredulity, the incredulousness of you so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans, which they doubt everything. Which, in a sense, you're supposed to. Somebody come to you with something new, there is a level of doubt. But as we were going, I'm out here in Memphis. We were going at camp. We were speaking about how Jake doesn't consider these things, right? There is a point to where, you know, somebody says something, you want to fact check it. But what our people do, they just fan the hand. They're right, you're wrong. They're gonna live their truth, and that's what America has taught them to do. But ultimately, that seed of disobedience has been with them since the beginning. So you can't blame it on Esau, Edom. Yeah, it's heightened, right? The scriptures speak about how the Lord he gave them up to they were deceived by the god of this world. To them that believe not, I'm vaguely paraphrasing. We can get it, but it's in I believe it's in what is that, Corinthians? The god of this world, or Thessalonians, one of them, are to those that believe not. They didn't believe anyways. So the Lord just used Esau to further put him to sleep. That's all. All right. So let me read that again. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. See, we understand the latter end of you so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans, you disobedient ones. All right, because you are going to have a remnant that is returning. Okay, and all you individuals that have done the men of the Lord, the believers, the women and children wrong, okay, the Lord is going to deal with you. Okay, right now you don't see the power. You don't see, the because you don't understand the spirit of truth. You don't see the spirit of truth on the men of the Lord. So you look at us like, these regular guys. They just talking shit. They don't know. But there's gonna come a time where the Lord is gonna show His power through His men. I just wanted to say that, okay? Because you got a lot of individuals that have done the men of the Lord, the believers, the men, women, and children wrong. And this is why you have to be very careful of how you talk to people and what you say in your intentions. Because you don't know if that individual, okay, is that's the Most High's, the Most High looks at that individual in high esteem, And here it is, you offending, you doing this, you doing that. And the Lord can jack your ass up. Zechariah 13. And we look, man. The Spirit is having us our mind prepare for a lot of death amongst you so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans. Remember when ICE was coming in? ICE is still going around doing operations. Remember there was an upcry, and they're doing this, they're doing that, and then how they were treating the Latin tribes and even you so-called darker immigrants, mainly you Haitians and Caribbeans, from the Caribbeans. Okay, you were crying, but now it kind of slowed down. Nothing's really happening. You went right back to sleep. But Jacob's trouble is still on the rise. It's still here. We're still in the height of war. We're between Iran, America, Russia is involved. Those different Gulf nations are involved. Oh, and that's what I'm gonna do the lesson on. One of the articles I have, where with North Korea, because they have nuclear missiles, and who helped them build their nuclear missiles? Mainly was Russia. Okay, when you go back into the history, it was mainly Russia, and I'm pretty sure if you dig into it, China probably helped them too. But there's in their constitution, they amended their constitution, North Korea, and basically in that constitution, if their leader Kim Jong-un, if he is assassinated by a foreign entity, it's automatic nuclear strike. Automatic. So I'm gonna go into that later, Lord's will. All right. So We're in that. Ask Jake. Ask Jake about that. Ask our people about that. They don't know what the hell is going on. They're busy watching the NBA, the NFL. They're busy with celebrity gossip. You know, they're busy with, entangled in all the entertainment and distractions. While we are occupied in prophecy, and we're looked down upon, and we're taught, and we're crazy, we're this, we're that, yeah, and that's fine, right? Zechariah 13:8. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. Let's see what the NLT say. 2/3 of the people in the land will be cut off and die. Look at that. It went right to the point. 2/3 of the people in the land, speaking about what land? America, will be cut off and die. Do you not understand 2/3 is a big number? All these YNs, all these Keishas, all these Marias, all these weirdos. Okay, you got a lot of Jake that's into that's in the dope entertainment industry. Okay, you got a lot of Jakes that's into selling dope, trafficking. They traffic. They traffic their own people. Okay, that sell drugs. Bear with me, I'm just trying to find some parking. They do they do all type of evil, wickedness. You got a lot of Jakes that's into theft. You got a lot of Jakes that's just into into idols and witchcraft, especially the women of our nation. Okay, they're heavy into witchcraft. All right, let me read it again. Zechariah 13:8. Two-thirds of the people in the land will be cut off and die, says the Lord. But 1/3 will be left in the land. Okay, meaning 1/3 is going to be delivered. The Lord is not going to destroy all his nation. Okay, he's going to leave a remnant. The scriptures speak about how a remnant is going to return. Okay, it speaks about that also in Isaiah, the 10th chapter. I will bring that group through the fire and make them pure. Okay, and that fire is that the different, tribulations that we go through, that which refines us and makes us, all right, more pure in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. Okay, we're becoming more pure, and the impurities that are inside of us that we have picked up, the mindset, the things that we thought were good, the things, here in America, the different things are lust. The Most High is burning those impurities out of us. I will refine them like silver and purify them like gold. Right? I should make a man more precious than fine gold. They will call on my name and I will answer them. So that's a big controversy there, is what is the name? Okay, you have a lot of different Israelite factions, you can call it, that have different interpretations on the name. You have those two stooges. What's it called? Hassad and Hakat. They just did a video basically attacking the name. So that name is under heavy attack, and these are individuals that actually called on the name for years. Look at that. That's that apostasy. We're in that year. Apostasy, sellouts, agents. Okay. I will say, these are my people, and they shall say, the Lord is our power. So it's going to come. It's going to come to pretty much the Lord is going to show you who He's dealing with. When this hell comes, when this judgment comes, all right, it's going to be very clear. I'm pulling up another scripture. It's going to be very clear who the Lord is dealing with. Okay? And it's going to be very clear who the Lord is not dealing with. It's going to be a great slaughter. Well, Ezra's, let me just read that before. Ezra's the 16th chapter, and then I'm going to go to Isaiah 66, and we'll just close. This is a short lesson. Okay? Right? 2nd Ezra 16 and 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Also, the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk spoke about, in wrath, remember mercy. He also saw the destruction. He saw the Lord coming. He saw the chariots. Okay, Jeremiah, Isaiah. Okay, Malachi says there's going to be a day that shall burn as an oven. Okay, so all the prophets, where you have Paul in Thessalonians, he spoke about the Lord coming back with vengeance, with fire. Peter spoke about how the heavens and the earth, which are now, are in store, for fire. The elements shall melt with fervent heat. So all the prophets saw this destruction. Okay, they saw our people being destroyed, man. All right, but they also saw a remnant also that's going to be delivered through this. Remember, the elect, the remnant, had victory over the beast, over his mark, over his image, and that's going to be through faith. So Ezra, which he saw a lot, he said, "Woe is me," meaning like, damn. He's seeing all this destruction. Like, shit, who gonna deliver me? It's bad out here. We're gonna come to a time where the Lord just got to be dealing with you. He's got to be dealing with you. And if you haven't stored up faith now, if you don't have that relationship now, then when the time comes, just watch how people switch up when when they feel that they can get benefit out of a particular you know a relationship or instance. All right, people are going to want to listen to you now. People are going to want to see what follow what you're saying. People are going to want to hear the word of the Lord, which that's all the Spirit. Thy people shall be willing the day of thy power. 2 Ezra 16:18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. See, great death. Just because you can go to a coffee shop and sit down, get on your laptop and, use AI, create a business and, go to school, you could do this, you could do, just because you can do all that shit don't mean that it's not coming. And see, that's what happens amongst our people, the unbelief, is they believe that the Most High is slack. But ultimately, it's the Lord. He don't want everybody to believe. He wants unbelief. Okay? He has individuals that are not set up to be delivered in this time. They're going to come back in the kingdom through the loins of the elect as children, righteous. But as for the time that we're in now, they're going to get that work. Okay, they're going to be dying of different diseases. This Hata virus, that might be the big one. Who knows? Which is pretty much like a disease X. Or it might be a combination. It could be a combination. Remember, the scriptures say pestilences. Okay? The beginning of wars. So we're in the beginning of wars. You know how many people that have died over there in West Asia and Palestine and Iran and in those regions, Syria and Lebanon? Men, women, and children perished. Okay, they were sitting down eating breakfast, and one day, a missile came and just blew their ass up. You Americans are not ready for that type of, anxiety, the angst, where you don't know if, you gonna get hit with a missile. And the power shall stand in fear. So even the elite, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sin as scourge for a minute. So that's that. Let's read this. Isaiah 66. I believe it's 66. Yep, and 15. Let's read it in the NLT. See, the Lord is coming with fire. So when did this happen? It hasn't happened yet. And his swift chariots roar like a whirlwind. What are the chariots? We know that to be so-called, what the world calls UAPs or UFOs, which is not. Are they not? Prepping the world to somewhat reveal what those crafts are. Esau, he gonna turn the devil. But there's so many sightings that he can't actually hide it. We know those to be the angels. Now, does he have craft up there? Does he manipulate and do things? Yeah, absolutely. Will he try to fake an alien invasion? More than likely. Okay. He's gonna do whatever. Okay. He's at his end. He knows that he has a short time, so he's gonna fight like no other. Okay, his back is against the wall. He's fighting for his existence. Okay, if he doesn't fight hard, he's going to perish. And he knows it. He will bring punishment with fury and his anger and the flaming fire of his hot rebuke. Yeah, so the Lord is going to rebuke these people. All right, rebuke them for their evil inventions. All right, rebuke them for this wicked society. Okay, rebuke them for all their iniquity. And he's going to do that through punishment, through fire. He's gonna have these nations shoot nuclear missiles on America. Before that, he's gonna plague America with disease, with collapsing infrastructure, collapsing people's minds. Everybody's civil wars, okay, race wars, okay, class wars, kidnapping, all right, anguish, not being able to, you know, go do as you please. The club's gonna be shut down. You know, you're not going to be able to go travel to different countries. There's going to be fuel shortages. We're prepared for these things. All right, spiritually, we understand that these things are coming. All right, the Lord will punish the world by fire and by his sword. He will judge the earth. See? So the earth is getting ready to be judged. And many will be killed by him. See, look, that's straight to the point. Many will be killed by him. By who? Yahweh. The word Lord is in all caps. That's the name of the Lord. Okay? We know that to be Yahweh. He exists. All right, many individuals down here on the earth are going to perish. Okay? Starting with you so-called blacks, Native Americans, you Israelites, starting with you Israelites that know that you're Israelites. You ones that ain't right. Are you false prophets? Are you unbelievers? Are you jakes that left the plow, stop plowing, stop working? Meaning you stop the work, right? There was a dude that we saw, me and the Captain Shamar, when I was out there in the Bay Area. You know, he was a cool dude. I liked the guy. He was a cool dude, but this wasn't for him. And he saw us, and he was kind of looked spooked, you know. And he was basically saying how he's barely holding on because of all the things that are happening. We've been speaking about these things happening, you know, the war with Iran, you know, collapse in infrastructure, collapse. You know, we've been speaking about so what are you Jace gonna do when there's digital currencies, man? When now you have a digital ID, and now you're hearing more news about the RFID microchip. Your children are being sent to fight wars. They're being drafted mandatory. They're being grabbed up. They can't hide. Okay, your neighbor, which you invited over to the barbecue, he's plotting on how to overtake you and take your ass out. You have marauders going from house to house. Okay, you're hearing gunshots and screams at night. You're hearing about people being kidnapped. See, you Israelites, you're not ready for that. Your mind is not mentally prepared for the time of trouble, Jacob's trouble. Yet we're going to continue to tell you whether you hear or you forbear, so the blood is off our hands, and may Yahweh Bashem Shah protect his elect. So until next time, shalom, peace to the elect.